Gotta make sure it's got you on Discord, so go ahead and talk. Oh, it works.
Friday. Yay,
Freed's
Friday.
Day. TJ
Go.
gets up early in the morning, and I fall in and out of sleep as he moves around the room quietly. The shower turns on at some point, and I think I hear Jenna's voice. I fall asleep again, and when I wake up next, I see Jenna in the corner of the room, sitting at the little table and typing away on her laptop. I stare at her groggily until she notices me. Yeah, okay. Well, the game audio source did not take.
Oh,
I see what happened.
is there an audio? I don't know if there's audio right now.
There is. There's at Jenna, there's the guitar comes in.
Oh, I actually have the music off. Let me see.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, I have the.
Morning. Hmm. Still tired? It's almost noon. I rub my face into my pillow and groan. I guess I was up later than I thought. I forced myself to sit up. I couldn't fall asleep. Yeah, I've been having trouble too. The beds are terrible. I look around. Where's Tej? Hike? What? He went on a hike. I sit there, frowning at Jenna. She types a while until she finally notices me staring and shakes her head. I don't know. He wanted to go alone. He's been asking us to go with him all week. I know. I think something's bothering him. Jenna pauses. Well, I know it's the scavenger hunt. Of course, that's what's bothering him. I sit on the edge of the bed, rubbing my face with my paws. This was a bad idea. Jenna goes on typing. Maybe, maybe not. He really wanted to go. He really wanted to do it, and I'm going to try and talk to him when he gets back, though. I stare at my feet for a moment, deciding on whether or not to just text him now. Jenna, do you think that there's something weird about the treasure hunt? Jenna doesn't even look up from her screen. Of course I do. I think everything about it is weird. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if Sydney put those there. Jenna finally looks up at me. Why not? Just, just, everything seems off. Why do you think, who do you think put them there then? I shrug. I don't know. Jenna stares at the computer screen for a while, not typing anymore. Well, the whole reason we're doing this is because of TJ. This seems to be what he wants to do. And even if it was someone else that left them there, it's going to help him, and then I'm going to help him with it. Help him with it. If it's going to help him, then I'm going to help him with it. Jenna shrugs. And in the end, all it is a treasure hunt. I'm just hoping that it ends at the house. Yeah. Jenna goes on typing, apparently done with the conversation, so finally get up to go to the shower. Breakfast is long gone by the time I get to the lobby. By the time I go to the lobby, and what's left is a few dried biscuits. So I opt to go to the diner instead, while Jenna opts to stay in the room and finish her paper. How responsible.
Mhm.
I sit at my usual booth in the corner of the diner, half-heartedly flipping through the menu. Jaundice comes over to take my order, and my short answers to her pleasantries keep her from being too chatty. Once I'm done ordering, I sit back and look out the window, watching the bright sun bake the hot desert below. I imagine TJ out there on the trail, trudging along the path under the 100+ degree heat. Aside from worrying what he might be going through right now. I also worry that he might pass out in this kind of weather. I can only hope he had the right mind to take a long enough water and make sure to cool off, like he did to me. I look down at my phone on the table, again, considering whether or not I should call him. Maybe a text at least. Hey, man. And I set my phone back down and wait for a response, wondering if I might drive out to the trail myself if he doesn't. That's when I sense someone move up next to the table. I look up expecting to see Jaundice, but I'm met with the sight of a younger white deer with his clasped paws holding a folded blue apron. I blank on his name for a few moments, and I'm left with my tongue hanging open like with my mouth hanging open like an idiot. And I remember, oh, Julian, what's up? Julian smiles. You got
Hey,
into Julian?
yeah. Hey there. My shift just ended and saw you sitting here.
Oh wait, but he doesn't go on. Oh, I don't want to say it, but it looks like he's expecting it, and I can't really find a way out of it. So, you want to sit down?
Yeah, sure.
Julian responds quickly and slides into the booth across from me, setting his folded apron down on the table.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. I wonder if I sound a little annoyed. Part of me hopes that I do, so he might get the hint like Jaundice did. But he goes on sitting there, interlocking his fingers and resting his forearms on the table.
How are you today?
Good. You? Julian shrugs.
I've been better. This job is really starting to wear me out, you know?
Yeah, I've had a few like that. While the buck seems nice enough, I don't think I've had more than 5 conversations with the guy my entire life. He was just a regular face that I saw through middle and high school, a part of the background. It wasn't until the last few years of high school that I noticed him and TJ hanging out. And TJ was the only reason we ever briefly interacted. So I'm a bit confused as to why he's suddenly taken an interest.
Yeah? Well, what sort of job do you have?
Well, I'm between jobs right now. I'm going to school, but I'll probably stock shelves over the summer like I did last year.
So that job wore you out?
Well, no. But my fast food job did. The one I had in high school. I kinda like stacking boxes and putting stuff on shelves.
See, I think food service jobs are definitely the worst. So I can see why stocking might be a little better.
He breaks off as Jaundice comes back, sitting down my chicken sandwich.
Oh, you know Chase, Julian? A little. I know him through TJ. Ah, well, if you see that boy again, let him know that I'd like to chat with him.
She's got some more crap that she needs him to do, or she needs him to lay down in the holes that we dug.
Yeah, she's got
She's
more
like,
crap for him to do. I want this planter bed. Could you build me a raised bed thing?
could you take this big piece of concrete and sort of cut it to where the top part's sort of like an oval or a circle, and then put on there TJ, like just carve it into this piece of concrete that looks like a tombstone for some reason? No reason though.
No reason.
I look up and Jaundice gives me a wink before bustling off. I decide to definitely not let TJ know.
But anyway, I'm going to school too, over at Mesa. And this diner has some seriously flexible hours. Only reason I'm still here.
At least you guys don't seem very busy. even during lunch hour. I nod at the two or three people, to the two or three other occupied tables.
Yeah, it's a wonder we're still in business. Probably gonna have to close down in a year or two.
That idea actually makes me a little sad. Look down at my chicken sandwich, feeling a bit awkward at the idea of Julian just watching me eat, so I leave it on the plate for now. Julian leans back and looks out the window.
So, where's Teach at? I thought you two were hanging out.
I get the feeling that this is the main reason why Julian is talking to me. Yeah, he went off on a hike earlier this morning. I slept in.
Oh, I see. You still do that a lot?
I shrug. I don't know. We've only been here about a week. He does love going on hikes though.
I mean, does he do that at CCU?
I stare at Julian for a second before I realize what he's talking about. Oh, oh no, I don't go to CCU. I'm at Pueblo.
So you guys met up here?
Well, I picked him up and brought him here, along with Jenna, but she goes to Pueblo too. I grow a little frustrated at having to explain everything to this guy. All I want to do is eat, and then go back to the motel and wait for TJ.
I see. Well, TJ was my best friend during senior year. After you and Carl left, we hung out all the time. After he left for college, we kind of lost touch.
Yeah. He's not very active on social media. I'd only seen TJ post a few pictures since he started classes. A few were of him and the college soccer team, and one was of him standing in a prayer circle along with an inspirational quote. But Julian revealing that he was TJ's best friend towards the end of high school cools my exasperation. I suppose he does have a reason to know what TJ might be up to.
He was kind of depressed right after graduation, so I've been a little worried about him.
Depressed? That surprises me. I've never known TJ to be depressed. Sure, he's been sad before, but not outright depressed as far as I know. Maybe I don't know that much about him.
I thought it might have to do with graduation, but it went on all summer.
Oh, well, if you want to talk to him, I can definitely let him know. I gesture at my phone on the table. I also make a mental note to myself that I should talk to TJ too, about everything. Julian smiles.
That would be great. Please do. I think he must have changed his number after leaving.
Okay. I hesitate, then pick up the phone and type out a brief message. Just met Julian at the diner. He'd like to talk to you. Smiley face. TJ hasn't texted me back yet.
How long have you known TJ?
I set the phone back down and settled back into the booth. Since he got here in like 2001, so 14 years ago.
Whoa! That's a long time.
Yeah, it really is.
You guys always been good friends?
For the most part. We've had times where I was kind of a dick to him, but he's always been a good friend to me.
I see. Yeah, we all went to the same elementary school, but it wasn't until junior high that I met him in Bible study.
Ah, of course.
I always knew about you guys, though. The Echo Kids.
Yep, that was us, the weirdos. Julian glances around before lowering his voice.
It was a mean thing to say, but this town is kind of messed up. A lot of weird things happen here.
I can't argue with that. Julian looks around again, biting his lip. And he lowers his voice another notch.
Hey, so this is gonna be a bit weird, and I don't want to offend you, but it's something that's bothered me for a while.
I eyed Julian warily. Yeah?
TJ told me what happened at Lake Emma a while back when we were talking about death and heaven.
I feel a little chill go up my spine.
Well, he never actually told me about what exactly happened, but I can tell it really affects him.
Julian pauses, but I don't say anything, keeping my eyes fixed on the table.
Now, you don't have to tell me, and if it makes you uncomfortable, please don't. But I feel like I have a better idea of what happened. I mean, but I feel like if I have a better idea of what happened, I might understand him a bit better.
Julian brings his interlocked fingers up to his chin to rest on it.
I'm not going to ask him to tell me, of course. I know it was a long time ago. But I know you can carry stuff like that around for a long time. So if you're not okay with it, then please just let me know and I'll change the subject.
I contemplate it for a moment, wondering if the buck is out of line to be asking about such things. I decide he isn't. He's one of TJ's best friends, so in a way, he's sort of connected to it. So I guess he does have a reason to know. Okay, but please don't bring it up with TJ. Like you said, it still really affects him.
Never.
Julian looks at me solemnly. I think for a moment, gathering my thoughts. It's been a long time since I thought of the story from beginning to end. It was around August, I think, 2003. It's a little bit hard to remember. What I do remember is that we'd all gone down to the lake to swim like we did almost every week. There's this little spot where the beach kind of curves in and it's mostly sand and shallow water. That's where we'd usually hang out and swim. Even though the water was always sort of stagnant there, it was at least safe and warm compared to the rest of the lake. I think at some point one of us wanted to go and skip rocks. I had to go further up the shore to do that, and TJ was more interested in building sandcastles. So he stayed behind while the rest of us went up the beach to find the rocks. When you go up that far, you can't really see that spot anymore, so I'm not completely sure what happened. I vaguely remember looking back at TJ as we went up the beach. The leaks bending over his castle, the back of his wet swim trunks covered in sand where he'd sat down. Sydney went with us. At least I remember that. But while we were skipping rocks, he sort of disappeared. I glanced up at Julian for a moment and see him listening attentively before I looked back down at the table. Anyway, I heard some splashing and some shouting from TJ, and we all ran up the beach to see Sydney floating out in the lake. I swam out there and got to him. Too late, though. I don't mention the part where TJ was crouched in 3 feet in the water, staring at Sydney's floating body 20 feet away from him. I don't tell him that TJ's explanation for what happened was always amounted to Sydney stepping out too far into the water. That maybe the current knocked him off balance and pulled him in. How he'd even said that it almost looked like an invisible shark had grabbed Sid and pulled him out. And none of it makes any sense at all. None of us are sure what happened. Seemed to be enough for Julian, though, as he shakes his head.
I'm very, very sorry to hear that. But thank you for telling me. All I knew was that a friend of his drowned in the lake. He didn't tell me how close he was to it. It makes sense why that would still deeply affect him.
No problem. I realize that Julian is probably the first person that I've ever told that story to outside of Eka. I also realized that it wasn't hard to do at all. Suppose it's easier to tell someone who wasn't related to the incident, someone that has no connection to the raw horror of that day. That and a lot of time has passed. Maybe I just got over it without even knowing.
But yeah, Echo is a crazy place. You know about that mass hysteria thing that happened 100 years ago? This place is kind of famous for that. Almost all of the paranormal podcasts I listen to have an episode on it.
My heart skips a beat as I suddenly remember my project. My project in Eka. It's almost like it's a Project Eka. I cover my face with my paws.
It is
Shit.
the Echo Project. What's wrong? Did I say something?
I uncover my face to see Julian looking at me with some concern. No, I just forgot some schoolwork that I needed to get done. A project. The excitement around the scavenger hunt completely wiped the thought of it from my mind.
Oh? What kind of project?
A news report on Echo and that mass hysteria incident. I've barely done anything on it since I first got here.
Hey, that's cool. Do you need some help?
I blink, the buck's eagerness surprising me. For the first time, I see him become embarrassed, the skin on the inside of his ears turning dark red.
Sorry. For some reason, that's always interested me, so I got a little excited.
I glance down at my phone and see that I still haven't gotten a response from TJ, so I get an idea. Despite my initial annoyance, I like how considerate Julian was about the whole lake incident. I also want to give him a chance to see TJ before the end of our trip. Well, actually, I've been meaning to get some footage of the mine, or at least the opening, since it's sealed up. If you want, we can head up there and get some shots. At the same time, look for TJ. The trail is in that area. Julian perks up.
Hey, that would be really awesome. Thanks. Do you want to eat that first?
I look down at my sandwich, then shake my head. I'll just eat on the way to the motel.
Oh, I got my truck. I can drive you over. And there's a bunch of room if you need it for your equipment.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks. So let me get a to-go box and we can leave. 1 second, I touched my glasses.
Okay.
Need to, see if I can wipe them clean.
It's a great
All
big
that, all that man grease.
man grease. Smear across it and you just see like a fog of man.
Just see, you touch your glasses and there's just a bunch of Echo characters smeared across your glasses.
Oh, Julian.
So I have a theory.
Yeah.
That theory is that TJ and Julia. So I'm pretty sure Julian's supposed to be gay.
It's likely.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that TJ had his first, not gay encounter, but his first encounter where he maybe might have acted a little bit or felt something funny, that kind of thing.
Explored
With
it.
Julian. I also have there's so many little things where it's just like TJ takes off his shirt like a girl does. TJ has a lot of poses where he's crossing his body and holding onto his arm and looking away. There might TJ could be a trans character, but I'm not sure, right?
Mm.
Not even so pre-social transition sort of trans character. It's possible. He could just be an ultra femme gay dude, which is perfectly fine as well.
Yeah.
So, who knows? But I also think TJ is very, very, very closeted about it and
Oh yeah,
still is like stuck with his like parents' mindset. So
yeah. I'm pretty sure he has. If
yeah.
he is gay, he's bottled it up because of like the church culture he's been raised in.
Oh
And
no,
it,
he's obviously gay.
yeah. I don't know. Later on, you kind of get a sense like, well, to tangent a little bit, the uh, the short story I did, it had TJ dating a girl
Mhm.
a few years ago in this universe. He really didn't hit it off with her very well, but then it seems like there was, he called Chase, and Chase was with Leo, and they were still together in that period that they keep referencing
Mhm.
in here.
Mhm.
And Chase sends him to a website to look at it, and then TJ starts, he's kind of turned off by it. But then he starts talking about, and then he starts thinking about how Chase and Leo are always together and kind of flirting and touching and everything in front of everyone, and
Mhm.
that actually gets him turned on. So he's like, "Oh, maybe I am." But that's not his thought process. His thought process is like, "What the fuck? Why am I hard right now?"
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things where like imagine TJ is a kid from the East Coast whose parents are like hyper religious. He's basically the kid that like gay pride is made for, like pride events.
Mm-hmm.
He's what those are for. He's who those are for.
Oh, okay.
And so to give you a quick explanation, pride events exist to give visibility to gay people and trans people and just the LGBT community in general. Because not for people on the West Coast who uh,
Oh,
generally tend to be more accepting, but
yeah,
people on like the East Coast who are just like Bible thumping weirdos who
yeah,
are just like, yeah, who
closed off,
absolutely hate gay people and view it as the devil and all this other crap.
and just
And
hostile to anything not the church.
yeah, so like to put that in perspective, a lot of the people that I met on the West Coast who are ex-military, well, at least some of them, well, the ones who were gay, a handful of them, they left. They were kicked out of their homes at 18. So and they knew it was going to come. They knew it was coming. So by like the age of 12, 13, 14, when them being gay really started to present itself and they weren't able to hide it as well, their parents basically told them, "You're out as soon as you turn 18, and I'm no longer required to take care of you."
Like total
And
disownment.
yeah, and it's like, here's your schedule. Dinner's at this time, bedtime's at this time. You better not be out. You better not go anywhere or sneak out of your bedroom and go do your weird, devil things.
Basically, treat him like a prisoner for no good reason.
Yeah, and make it very clear that they don't want them.
Yeah, and they're just not welcome, which is,
Um,
fucked up.
yeah. With the other thing that was kind of weird about that is that they would even stop them from going and getting with people outside of the home. Like they wanted to trap them there to try and ruin their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of these kids would go sign up with the military at 17 and take their little cash advance of like $1,000, $2,000. The military will give you a little advance.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would, as soon as they turned 18, that year straight to boot camp. They'd usually go live with some friends for, a week, a weekend, half a year or something, off to boot camp. And then they're off on their tour. And they get out and now they're living the rest of their life out in the civilian sector. All PTSD'd and PTSD'd and up and everything. Um, those are the people who tend to do better, I think. Um, what will also happen is you'll have parents who will send these kids to conversion camps.
It's an
You've
awful
probably
thing.
heard of those.
Yeah, awful
By
things.
the way, most of those are in Utah because the Mormon church has effectively lobbied to make it legal in Utah to have those camps. look up the video that Azael did about the like $265 billion doomsday cult in Utah. He's talking about the Mormon Church, but
Oh, I've heard about that
just talk
actually.
about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, they'll send these kids to conversion camps where they basically,
Brainwash them.
how can I put this?
Torture,
Uh,
brainwash.
take Orcher and put Tor in front of it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they'll do that to these kids and brainwash them and manipulate them. And when the kids get out, they go in one way, and when they come out, they are completely different. Because, yeah, horrible things have been done to them. And they typically have an extremely restricted way of doing things. There was one person that I knew in the Bay Area. He called macaroni and cheese like him food, his name food.
Hmm.
And he would kind of just eat mac and cheese, and that's it.
Oh, what the heck?
And yeah, he ate some other stuff, but over the years, the group that I was with sort of pulled him out of that and helped him grow into himself. But there's a high instance with these with these gay kids, where boys and girls, where there's a high instance of self forever sleep,
Hmm.
and gay
Yeah.
pride lets them know that they are not alone, and so they know that there are other people out there, and that once they are free of their horrific family, they can go find these people and have a good time. In the 90s and the aughts, even to this day, furry culture has sort of become synonymous with gay culture to an extent. Well, not synonymous, but it's highly ingrained
Highly connected.
because what's up?
Highly connected.
Yeah, because like furry culture is an online subculture, and most of the time, even if you're a kid in like the 90s with your super hyper religious parents, I mean, you'll be able to use an excuse to get on the computer, and you can go to like, on message boards and whatever and find other gay people to hang out with, and then just delete your browser history so crazy mommy and daddy can't find it.
Yeah.
And, you can network that way. Every single year, by the way, at furry conventions across the US, there are kids from households like that who jump on a bus, drive, and like get taken to the furry convention, and they're like 14, and they just get dropped off. Their parents don't know they're there, which is why a lot of conventions had to institute these rules that basically said, "Hey, if you are a minor, you have to have an adult, or if you're over like 16, you have to have a written waiver." And so some kids will even have that written waiver, but they forged everything. So their parents just don't know where they are for like 2 weeks or so. Well, for like a week,
Jeez.
maybe more, because they slink off the furry convention and then they find furries who are cool that they want to hang out with and like, can I come like hang out with you guys? And so then they go and they just live at the furry's house for a little bit. It's like, this is amazing. These people are great. I like these people. They treat me like a human being. I don't have to eat my food in like the closet under the stairs, and
Yeah. Get seen as like an equal and as a human being instead of some
yeah,
prisoner
yeah,
or deviant or some horrible person for no good
yeah,
reason.
some hell spawn.
Yeah.
And so then usually at some point the furries are like, "Hey, so your parents are gonna come get you, right?" And then it usually becomes known at a certain point that it's just like, no, they don't know I'm here. They probably don't care. They hate me. They hate me because I know, like, they know I'm gay, and so they hate my guts and they want me to die. And it's like, oh, but you're like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Kid, we can't have you here.
Yeah.
You got to go back to your parents' house. Like, look, we will buy you a bus ticket to get you back there.
Yeah. But
But
it's like dangerous for people that he's staying with.
Yeah, but once you turn 18, you can come hang out with us. So,
Yeah.
like, have you ever heard of a fur house before?
Nuh-uh.
So, a fur house is just a house where a bunch of furries get together. They tend to become friends with each other over the years. And then, as they're trying to move out of their parents' house at like 18, 19, 20, whenever, 40, they, they 50, they will typically just come together and they'll be like, hey, there's this house for like $3,000 that we can rent. And there's like, it's like a 3-room house, 4-room house, and there's like 12 of us. You guys just want to get together and split $3,000 12 ways? So that's what they do.
Nice. Yeah, that would. Geez, that would be so.
Yeah.
That'd be
So their
so
rent is
easy.
like $250.
So nice. Sounds like it would be wonderful, except for like so many people crammed into one place.
Yeah, I mean they could do less, but you know, but if you have a bunk bed or something, it can work.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean it works just fine. And these people they're super best friends with. So yeah, for houses. But yeah. And so they'll get together and they'll do that and they'll be happy. Usually there's some person who makes a lot of money. And when they move, pretty much everyone in the fur house does, or they split off a certain number of them. But yeah.
Hmm.
All right, well, 20 minutes later, we're heading up the narrow canyon road towards the mine. I haven't been there in years, but the dirt road leads straight to it, so I don't even have to look up instructions. Julian chats away while I eat my lukewarm sandwich out of a foam to go box. Well, while there's an almost robotic quality to the buck with how articulate he is, he's also really nice. I can certainly see why TJ would call him a friend. The bumpy road curves upward, and finally we get to the mine. There's a wide open dirt space for parking, along with some concrete barriers along the edge of the drop off. There are a few signs posted. There are a few signposts, probably giving a brief history of the mine, and then there's TJ. Lynx is sitting at the opening of the mine, just right at the entrance. He's leaning back against the rebar grid that sealed the entrance. What the? Julian stops talking and looks over at me, then in the direction I'm looking.
Whoa, is that Tej?
I don't say anything because I realize how limp the lynx looks. His head tipped back, his paws limply laying on the ground. I'm out of the truck before Julian can even park, my to-go box spilling out on the gravel as I jog towards Tej. TJ, hey, what's wrong? You all right? You okay? Lynx doesn't respond, and when I get to him, I see that his eyes are open, but they're rolled back to the point where I can only see the whites. I bend over him, trying to help him sit up better, made more difficult by his bulky backpack sitting in the way. As I'm doing this, I feel a rush of cold air from the mine blowing through the rebar. I ignore it at first, focused on trying to get TJ to respond to me, but then I realize there's a hissing sound to go with it, like someone exhaling. I glance up through the grid, but I don't see anything. Still, I get the unnerving feeling that the opening is breathing somehow.
Is he alright?
Julian shouting and running up next to me turns my Julian shouting and running up next to me turns my attention back to TJ. I look down to the lynx and his ears are twitching around.
Huh? Whoa.
Crouched down next to him, putting a paw behind his head to give him some support. TJ, what happened? Are you okay? TJ turns to me, blinking in confusion.
Oh, okay. What's wrong?
He rubs his eyes with the back of his paw before adjusting himself so that he can sit up straight.
You were just sitting there. You almost looked.
Julian pauses. It looked like you were passed out or something. Finally seems to focus on us, the dazed look in his eyes disappearing.
Passed out? No. I was just taking a quick nap.
TJ lets out a short laugh and leans his head back against his backpack. What? Here? I look back at the sealed mine, the ominous blackness still seeming to yawn open at us. Why?
Well, it's hotter than usual today, so I started to feel like I was going to pass out. Thought that might be a bad sign, so I decided to rest once I got here.
You came here on purpose?
Yeah, I saw the canyon with you last time, so I decided to take a trip to the mine this time.
TJ smiles lazily up at me as he continues to lounge against his backpack.
Sorry I worried you, and... Oh, Julian!
TJ seems to suddenly realize that the stag is here.
What are you doing here?
TJ quickly gets to his feet, sliding his arms out of the straps of his backpack. He hugs Julian, the stag hugging back just as enthusiastically. TJ doesn't even greet me so intimately. I guess they have more of a history than I thought.
Hey, TJ. Hey, Tej. Yeah, I met Chase at the diner. You weren't answering your text, so we both decided to come up and find you. That and Chase needs to get some footage for his project. Oh, cool. Do you need help with that, Chase?
TJ turns to me with a grin. I don't know what it is, but TJ's acting a lot more chipper than he was yesterday. So, that almost dark broodiness is gone, replaced by his usual cheer. I have to smile because of it, despite the situation just a few minutes ago. Sure. Another breeze of cool air seems to whoosh softly through the rebar. I look back at it. TJ, why the hell would you sleep here next to the creepy mine? TJ frowns.
It was really cool. Like cold. I was laying in the opening and felt some cool air blow out, so I decided to lean against it. It feels really nice.
TJ walks up to the metal grid and spreads his arms out, clutching onto the bars as he presses his face against it. He leans his head back, pulling a face.
Well, it smells really musty, but it feels good.
I look back at the opening, the blackness inside sending chills up my spine. I think back to when a body was found in there over 100 years ago. Even though I know there aren't any dead bodies in there now, it still creeps me the fuck out. I try to hide my shudder as I turn away, looking back at the truck.
Hey, so are we going to Sydney's old house now? Is that why you guys came to find me?
DJ's trying to hide it, but I can hear an eagerness in his voice. I turn back to look at him. The lynx now with his back to the mine, pressing up against it. I want to tell him to move away from the opening, but I wouldn't be able to explain to him why. Well, let me get some filming done first. I can do the voiceover later, so it'll be quick. I lean back. I hold back a wince as I realize how much time that's also going to take. My project is going to be shit at this point. Can't avoid that. I just need to make it at least shit. I just need to make it the least shit that I can.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
TJ laughs nervously, then looks away.
Sorry. I'm just a little loopy from my nap. You guys really surprised me.
It's okay. I'm gonna go get my equipment really quick, okay? TJ nods at me and I jog off to the parked truck to grab my camera. So TJ might still be acting a little weird, but I'm just glad he seems happy again. Seeing him the way that he was last night was a little unnerving, to say the least. Scoop up my camera bag from the back of the truck and head back. From the bed of the truck and head back, slowing down to a walk as the heat is already starting to catch up with me. How TJ was able to go on a several hour long hike is absurd to me. It almost seems foolish, especially for someone like TJ who knows about how dangerous that can be. When I get back to the mine, I see Julian and TJ sitting with their backs to either side of the opening, chatting with each other. They're eating granola bars, and TJ holds out one to me as I approach. Thanks. Hey, TJ?
Huh?
TJ looks up at me innocently. If you go on a hike again, be sure to bring me next time, okay? I don't think you should be alone out here.
Oh, yeah, sure.
His ears droop a little, a small frown on his face. I just don't want you to get hurt, you know? It's really hot today, and it would have been really terrible if you passed out alone.
Yeah, sorry.
I drop my bag gently on the ground before leaning back against the wall next to the lynx. It's all good. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Thanks. I just didn't want to wake you up this morning.
Jenna offered to go with you, didn't she? DJ sighs quietly, looking away into the mine.
Yeah, but I can tell you guys don't want to go. I just don't want to ruin this trip for you more than I already have.
What? TJ, what are you talking about? TJ goes quiet, then just shrugs his shoulders. Maybe he isn't back to his old self after all.
I wouldn't mind going with you, TJ. I love hiking.
Julian smiles gently at the lynx. For some reason, I feel a tiny tug of annoyance in my chest. It's stupid, but I was the one who offered first, and I'm the one that took TJ out the first time. Yeah, we could both go. The point is, you don't go out alone next time, alright, Tej?
Yeah, okay. Thanks, guys. No problem.
A short silence stretches out between the three of us before Julian speaks up again.
We were just talking about our old Bible study group.
TJ leans his head back against the wall, rolling his eyes. It's an expression I don't see from him very often. What about it?
Oh, just the way TJ would always take it so seriously, and no one else would.
TJ shakes his head in exasperation.
Yeah, I never had any control in that club.
Oh, really? Were you in charge? It's a little odd to think of TJ in a leadership position like that. I just never knew him to put himself out there in high school.
Yeah, I revived it after it sort of went defunct for a few years. Wasn't all that popular.
TJ smiles with some embarrassment.
Yeah, we had like 3 other members, not including you or me. Yeah. Then one dropped out after like 2 meetings.
Julian clicks his tongue.
What a godless school we went to. Hey! You know I'm kidding. Mostly. Well, I don't want atheists to. Well, I did want atheists to join too, as long as they weren't disruptive. I just wanted to show everyone what a nice experience it could be, even if you didn't believe.
I very vaguely remember TJ inviting me to the club and me saying that I'd think about it. I never went, of course.
Wasn't all that spiritual in the end, though. Yeah, mostly we just talked and brought snacks. It took TJ a while to realize no one wanted another Sunday school session at actual school. Yep. Hours of planning out the window. It was still a great time. I think the four of us were happier for it. Yeah, I guess.
TJ seems to suddenly notice me.
Oh, sorry, Chase. You wouldn't know much about this stuff.
It's okay. It's interesting to hear about it. Again, I get that little twinge of jealousy, even though I know it's not fair. I'd chosen not to show up, probably using that time to go home and hang out with Leo.
You didn't miss much. Just discussions about movies and watching movies too. Ugh, they couldn't even be religiously themed. Thank God. Hey!
I laugh at how indignant TJ is.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time at least. I came away thinking the whole thing was a failure. I think I remember you mentioning that you wished your friend here would have shown up. I don't really remember. Of course you do. You said it all the time.
TJ's ears flatten and turn red. Who, me?
Yep.
Julian grins as TJ tries to look away. Well, the situation is kind of funny. Now I feel even worse about not ever showing up. Ugh, sorry, Tej. You know, it was high school and all.
Yeah, I understand. Don't worry about it. So, did you start another club at your new school?
TJ smirks.
It's a Christian school, so there's like 50 clubs about religion. Oh, are you a member of any of them? A few.
Which ones?
A singles club.
Singles?
As in finding a date? Sure.
He looks away again. It's hilarious how bashful he's being about this stuff. He's in college. All of this should be natural to talk about, but not with TJ. You meet anyone?
Hey, Chase, don't you have to film some stuff?
He looks back at me with a frown. Whoa, just asking. Julian chuckles quietly. I bend down and start to pull out my equipment, deciding that a few long shots with the tripod should be enough. I'm extending out the legs. As I'm extending out the legs, Julian asks TJ about the hike.
Was it fun?
TJ shrugs, finishing the last of his granola bar and brushing his paws together to get rid of the crumbs.
It was okay. Was really quiet.
I wince as one of my pads gets pinched between the metal.
Kinda creepy, to be honest. I would like it if you two went along sometime, if I do it again. Of course.
Yeah, definitely. Over the next 20 minutes, I set up the camera in 3 different spots, getting about 1 minute of film for each. TJ and Julian sit back in the truck while I do, and whenever I glance at them, they seem to be animatedly chatting and laughing. Once I'm done, I sigh and quickly snap the legs back down into the bag along with the camera. I see my to-go box in the dirt and consider picking it up, but I don't. I drop the bag into the truck again before hopping into the passenger seat, leaving TJ to sit between the two of us. They go quiet as we start pulling out into the dirt road. And I will be right back.
Should I pause my recording or?
No, you don't need to. I'm just gonna go pee.
I guess. Well, he's off. Urinating. Watering the porcelain bowl. how are you guys feeling about the stream so far? How do you like my voice for Julian? I just kind of came up with it on the spot. And what do you think of Julian's character? Looks like he's interesting. That's another church guy. An interesting character. I can definitely see some differences between TJ with the other routes I've done. And this one. It's not nearly as upbeat. I think it is funny. Everything we know about the mine, if you've been following Echo a long time, you kind of have an idea it's a place where lots of bad things happened. Just the eerie opening was enough to be like, gonna creep me out a little bit. TJ just relaxing against it. It's the grate. That's pretty cool. And just the idea that he's dead. His eyes are wide open. Head rolled back, just like a cat. So, just fun all around. I also like the fact that Chase is jealous. I think the only other jealousy I've experienced from him so far in all the Echo games I played has been with Udzu and Leo's route. Correct me if I'm wrong if you have experienced Echo more. I'm still kind of a noob.
All right, I'm back. Are you?
Oh, welcome back. I just entertained them a little bit.
Oh, I see. I'm heading back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, you did pause it.
Okay. Be it. I have a feeling that Tej and Julian totally did get down at some point at Bible study.
I don't think so. They seem to have a lot of history, a lot in common.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes sense that they would have done something. Little brown,
Had
brown
themselves a
guy.
good old time. They were studying.
Biology with each other.
Yeah, biology. All right, Chase. What were you guys talking about?
Not much. Just about high school.
DJ Nuts. Again, I'm starting to feel a little left out between these two. Kinda like a third wheel. So, what's the plan now?
Well, we thought we'd go to the house at now, after we pick up Jenna and Carl.
Alright. We drive in silence a little while, and for some reason I start to wish that I was sitting in the middle. The way Julian keeps turning the wheel forces his elbow to brush up against TJ's side, and I force myself to look away, wondering what the fuck I am thinking. I'm treating TJ like he's something that belongs to me. We've only hung out recently over the course of this week. I barely talked to him the past 2 years. I force myself to look ahead, out the windshield. Then TJ's phone buzzes and my eyes naturally go to the screen as the Lynx whips it out. I see the name Flynn and the message underneath it. I only have time to see a few words. You know his fucking tell me. TJ jerks his phone back down and looks away just as I feel the Lynx's eyes on my face. Wonder if he saw me looking. I'm sure he did. It doesn't really matter though, because now I'm wondering why the fuck Flynn thinks he's doing. They've been staying away from each other the past few days, obviously, but I guess Flynn found another way to get to TJ. The fuck does he think he's doing? Feel myself getting angry. I don't exactly know what the lizard is saying to TJ, but judging by what I saw, it's definitely not good. I make a mental note to ask TJ about it tonight. He won't tell me. If he won't tell me, then I'll let Leo know. He'll do something about it. We all walk up the sidewalk to the old ranch-style house. It's been a long, long time since I've seen this place. Even longer since I walked on this path. Sydney's house is up the gravel road behind the forest. It's a bit of an odd spot, secluded from the rest of the town. It was all the better for us, I guess. It's nice not being reminded of what happened. Guys.
Oh, want me to do it? I'll do it, Carl.
You're doing a few of them now, right? You're doing Julian?
I'm doing Julian and TJ. You're already doing
Then
Chase narration. You're doing Jenna.
Then you'll probably be doing Leo as well when he shows up.
Yeah, mostly I think it's going to be Carl and Jenna. But I'd like to do,
Yeah, go ahead and do
these three.
Carl, though.
Yeah. Guys, I don't know about this. You think he's gonna just let us in? What else can we do? Maybe Sydney didn't mean his room? Where else would he sleep? I don't know.
I mean, he'd nap in random places, if I remember, right? Like, he slept on my couch, even.
Stop it, Chase. You know that's not what he meant.
Well, who knows?
I do. I know where it is.
That dark edge to TJ's voice is creeping in again.
I suppose there's no harm in asking.
You definitely can't deny it's a little weird for 5 young adults to just show up on your door show up on your doorstep asking to be let in.
We don't have much of a choice, though, do we?
TJ is walking ahead of all of us, marching up the concrete steps without hesitation before immediately ringing the doorbell. Whoa, wait! We didn't even think of what we're going to say.
I already know what I'm going to say.
We stand there in stunned silence for a bit, and I look around at the others. Carl is completely uncomfortable, almost nauseous, his paws shoved deep into his pockets as he stares hard at the ground. Jenna is staring at TJ, her brow furrowed, clearly worried. Julian just stands there as if the situation doesn't bother him at all. Door finally opens, revealing a young red panda, not much older than ourselves. He blinks at us, then fixes his smile on then fixes a smile on his face. Hello,
Hello?
can I...
Can I help you?
I see TJ's ears flatten down for a moment, his originally tough resolve clearly faltering.
Uh, um, hello?
The red panda stares down at TJ for a moment, waiting expectantly. I don't recognize him. I'm sure I would have seen him around town if he'd moved in after Sydney's parents moved out. Must have been sometime recently, a few years ago. I decide then that I should step in to let TJ try and gather his wits. Hi, I'm Chase. This is TJ, and Carl, Jenna, and Julian. I point to everyone, feeling my cheeks grow hot.
Well, hi, everyone. I'm Ingy.
Another awkward moment, another awkward silence before I try to think of something else to say. How the hell do you bring up wanting to search someone's house because it belonged to your dead friend? As I'm trying to figure it out, TJ speaks up again.
Our friend used to live here about 12 years ago. Oh, really?
The panda seems to think.
Are you talking about Cindy? Sydney, yeah, he was our friend. Oh, sorry. I couldn't remember the name. I think his aunt told me about what happened. Yes, and, he left something behind for us. In his room. Is it alright if we come in and look for it?
NG's originally inquisitive look is replaced by one of confusion and definitely a little bit of suspicion.
Oh, all of you?
I notice Carl staring down hard at the floor, his paws twisting in his pockets.
If that's alright with you.
NG stares at us for a good 10 seconds, causing even me to glance down at the floor, realizing how stupid all of this is. Finally, he starts to step back, closing the door a little bit as he does.
It's funny. It's like a natural reaction.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I don't think it's a good idea. Wait!
TJ steps forward, his fur bristling. The panda jumps a little, closing the door further until it's at the point where we can only see one of his eyes.
So sorry, it's just maybe I could come in and the rest of my friends wait outside. This will be really quick. I know exactly where to look.
Panda's one eye looks back at us. TJ turns around and makes a shooing gesture with both paws. There's a pause, then we stumble back a little, down the steps onto the sidewalk. My face burns again in embarrassment, realizing what a bunch of crazy people we look like right now. I look back and see TJ standing alone on the porch, looking back at the panda, his paws clasped together. Again, what feels like a very long silence seems to drag on until NG opens the door slightly.
You know what? Why don't you just tell me where it is, and I'll have a look. Oh. Oh, yeah.
TJ seems surprised, as if only now considering that idea.
It's the room on the left. Down that hallway.
TJ points at the door at an angle.
And the closet in the back. It might be in a box.
NG's facial expression mirrors mine as I frown. A box in a closet, sitting there for over a decade.
All right, I'll have a look.
NG disappears behind the door, and I hear a deadbolt slide into place. We hear a phone being dialed and then police sirens.
Cue, yeah, in edit, cue, bang, 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 FBI, open up!
Yeah, it's just TJ kicks open his front door. We stand there in silence for a while before Carl breaks in.
Dude, he's calling the police. No, he's not. Like Carl is like, he's on. We are Carl.
I like how we're all the same way like this, Carl.
Like, yeah, Carl, yeah, he's calling the cops. So I was like, let's see. No, he's not. Dude, we look like a bunch of crazy people. We should leave. Not until he comes back out. Comes back out.
The police show up.
The SWAT swarms the house.
That one police officer that is referenced in the Leo route shows up.
Oh, you know,
she's like, "What are you guys doing?"
You know what's even better? The SWAT that comes up is just like the two characters from SWAT Cats, like back in the 90s.
Yeah. And they're like,
yeah,
in their helicopter or something. Like, take this, you undead monsters, and they just like shoot everybody with a Gatling gun.
All right, here's the boys. I have
Okay,
no idea.
Carl, go for it.
I think I'm gonna be sick. I think it's technically okay unless he tells us to leave.
Correct. He did say he's going to go look for us. No harm in just waiting for his answer. I see Carl scuff his hooves against the pavement, looking around nervously. I wonder if he had too much weed or something.
Again.
Why do you think it's in the closet?
He used a shoebox in there as a spot for his treasure hunts before. You remember?
I vaguely do, now that he mentions it, but I'm surprised TJ does. He was even younger. Then the door opens and NG comes back out. His facial expression is completely different now. It's one of amazement and disbelief, but it's what's in his paws that catches my attention. It's a teal-colored shoebox, old and worn and torn through the corners. My mouth drops, and she stands there for a moment holding the box out.
Is this it? It's not mine. And there's a piece of paper inside.
TJ's paws shake as he reaches out to take the box, lifting the lid to look inside.
It was in the spot you said. I've never seen that before.
I feel my stomach twist, more dismayed than anything that he found something. Do you not use that closet? It's a bit of an odd question, but I want to know how the hell you might have missed it. NG shakes his head.
No, not really. It's mostly a storage room right now. I think I've opened it a few times to put some boxes on the shelf, but I can't really remember.
Did you not look inside when you first moved in? NG looks at me, and so does TJ over his shoulder. I guess now I'm sounding like a crazy person.
Well, I can't really remember. It was a couple years ago. I had family help me move them in. So maybe they just thought it was mine if they saw it.
I wanted to ask more, but I bite my lip, not wanting to seem as frustrated and suspicious as I am.
It's definitely something I could have missed. I found a few things in the crawl space from the last family.
Who lived here before you, if you don't mind me asking? NG leans against the doorway, his arms folded, looking a lot more relaxed now.
It was the family you're talking about, I think. The Bronsons? Yes.
TJ's still looking down at the box, having not taken out the note.
Yep. The woman who lived here... The woman who lived here moved out right after what happened. But then her sister moved in. She told me about what happened when I bought the place.
Angie looks down at the box that TJ's still holding.
Do you know what he left you? How did you know to find it? It's, an old scavenger hunt that we found. It told us to come here. Like something he left behind? Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm sorry about what happened to your friend. You must have been children at that time.
No one says anything, so I nod for him.
I'm sorry. Also sorry for being so suspicious when you guys showed up. Thought I caught someone trying to break in a few days back. Can't be too careful. Don't worry about it. That's completely understandable.
Angie nods, then shifts around.
I don't want to pry, but what does it say? I didn't read it since I didn't want to intrude or anything.
TJ lifts the lid again, then reaches in to pull out the piece of paper. It's identical to the others that we've seen. Angie takes the box and the link so that he can use both paws to unfold the note. Then he starts reading. I hope that you're all having fun. Soon you'll know what Chase has done. Figure it out. It's a piece of cake. If you can't, look by Curl's drawing at the lake. It goes quiet for a while. The only sound is the wind rustling through the trees. Then I hear a gagging sound and look back just in time to see Carl hurling into some bushes. TJ is strangely calm as we sit in the motel room. It's been about an hour and a half since we found a last note. After Carl lost his lunch in the bushes, Julian drove him back home and we had to put the scavenger hunt on hold. TJ wants us all to be there for it. Julian is still with us, and I keep wondering when the hell he's going to go home. He just joined our little group today, and TJ acts like he needs to be part of it for some reason. He barely even knew Sydney. That doesn't really matter. This whole thing is so ridiculous. It's so obvious that Sydney had nothing to do with this scavenger hunt. Someone's planting these damn notes, and they have it out for me. I sit with my back against the headboard of the bed, staring at my legs as TJ tries to defend this whole thing.
If it's really bothering you, Chase, then you don't have to come.
I bristle a bit. You're insisting everyone else go? Why not me? I force myself not to look over at Julian.
I do want you to come, but you're so angry. I've never seen you like this.
Oh, I have. We all have. Chase is just acting like his old self now. Jenna sits in the corner on her laptop as usual, smirking. It pisses me the fuck off. Listen, whoever's writing these has it out for me. Look at what the last one said.
Sydney wrote them, and he always kind of teased you. It's just like him.
I got quiet, looking away with a glare. What do you think the clues are implying about you, Chase? I think about it for a moment. It's hard with all the anger that keeps threatening to bubble to the surface. I don't know. I just don't like the sound of it, and honestly, I try to think of the right way to word what I'm going to say. If you respect me, you'd see that and stop this stupid hunt. Goes quiet for a moment, then Julian stands up.
Hey, I'm gonna head out. Let me know what you guys decide to do tomorrow. I've got the whole day off. Oh, okay, man. Thanks so much for coming with us.
TJ gives the stag a side hug, and I try to keep myself from bristling. Once Julian leaves out the door, TJ sits on the foot of the bed, looking at me.
I completely respect you, Chase, but I really think these are from Sydney. He's just teasing you.
I don't say anything, choosing to look at the wall, feeling more unnerved by my own emotions than anything else. I don't feel like myself at all. I know I asked you this morning, but if you think this is someone else's doing, who could it be? Jenna crosses her arms, looking at me earnestly. I sit there quietly for a moment, debating on whether or not I should tell them. I decide I have to, since neither of the others seem to see it. I think it's Flynn. What? I think it's Flynn and Carl. They're doing this whole thing. You can't be serious. Who else? Carl's the one that found the first note, and I think Flynn gave it to him. The looks on Jenna and TJ's faces make me look away again. Am I going crazy?
Chase, that's...
Crazy, I know. But you saw how Carl was acting today? How nervous he was? He even threw up. Carl does that sometimes. Ugh. I slide my legs off the bed and let them hang over the side, fully facing the wall now.
I know how Flynn was back at the river, but even he wouldn't do that.
I look back at TJ with a glare. What about those texts he's sending you?
What?
TJ's paw flies to his pocket, a shocked look on his face. Jenna looks between us. What? Flynn sent TJ a text swearing at him. I think he's been messaging you this whole time. TJ's quiet, just staring at me. TJ, is that true? TJ stares at the floor for a moment before finally looking up at us, his voice oddly calm.
Yeah, well, he's angry. Of course he would be. But he has no reason to be writing the scavenger hunt. Flynn would never do that.
You sure about that? TJ glances back at me, and now I can tell I've made him angry.
Yes.
Why would he do that in the first place? I don't have to think hard on that one. To hurt TJ, to ruin our friendship by making up lies about me, to just be a complete dick. Take your pick.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
I don't say anything, choosing to glare at the wall. Jenna looks between us again and shakes her head. All right, that's enough of this. Neither of you are acting like yourselves, so I think it's best we head to bed, all right? Whatever. I slide into my bed and on my side, staring at the wall, listening as gets up and goes into the bathroom. Jenna goes on typing on her computer. I lay there quietly, deciding that I'm going to have to do something to stop this. Sneaking out of the motel room is probably the hardest part. I know that if they catch me at any point, it's over. It's about 3 a.m. I slide out of the bed, listening to TJ's snores and watching Jenna's unmoving form curled up on the bed in front of me. Quietly, I dig around in my bag for my keys, then slip out the door into the night. I grit my teeth as my car starts up, imagining TJ or Jenna pulling back the curtains and seeing me sitting in the car. I've got excuses. I'm sick. I had to drive to the emergency room, or even that I couldn't sleep and wanted to get a snack somewhere. They're all suspicious, but should be enough to cover my ass if things go south. I drive along the quiet road, my surroundings almost black since the moon is set. It takes me a moment to find the side road that will take me to the shore. Once I do, I see one lonely orange light glowing in the middle of the parking lot. I park away from it at the edge of the lot. It's dark here. I sit in the car for a while, wondering what I'm doing, wondering what the fuck I'm going to do. Something drives me. A feeling that if I don't do this, then the rest of my life is going to be ruined. I can't let that happen. I open the door and quickly get out. I pull out my phone and turn on the light, finding the small dirt trail that leads out into the inky blackness. The air is cool, and I can smell the lake. Pretty soon I can hear it, too. The soft, desolate sounds of the waves running against the thin strip of shore. It's peaceful, but at the same time, it terrifies me. And for a moment, I feel like the lake is one giant living thing. It dwarfs me with its presence, a giant, all-knowing thing, and it knows I'm here. I shudder and force myself to continue. I find the shoreline, and the dry sand shifts under my feet as I take a right and follow the shore. I try to ignore the sounds of the lake, the feeling that it's watching me, beckoning me towards it. Finally, I come across the boulder that I'm looking for. When the Carl used to carve his drawings into. Of course, it would be something Carl used. That fat piece of shit. I kneel down beside it, moving the light of my phone around until I find the drawing. I look at Super Wolf etched into the rock, glaring. And then I see a glint of light above it. I shift the phone light up to see what it is. I gasp, and I can't help a ragged scream from escaping my throat. A tarantula sits there, staring at me, its cluster of eyes shining in the darkness. I stumble back in the sands and, sitting down hard and causing my teeth to clack together. Scramble back up. I look around for a rock and quickly find one. Then turn back around and lift the light. The spider's gone. I look around for a while, in case it just moved around and maybe on the ground closer to me. I don't see anything, though, and I throw the rock at the lake, cursing the damn thing. Then I kneel down and look at the spot between the rock and the ground and the boulder. It takes a few moments, and I have to get real close, looking deeper into the crevice, and then it's a glint of what looks like metal. I start to dig, first with my bare hands, then with the help of a flat rock laying nearby. I'm sweating and gasping by the time I pull the thing free. It looks like an old lunchbox. I shine a light on it, and can barely make out what looks like a cartoon dragon. I open it and pull out the note. I read it. In a fit of rage, I tear the stupid thing in half, throwing it on the ground. You fucker. I hiss it out through my teeth, then pull out a piece of paper that I'd taken from one of Jenna's notebooks, along with a pen. I write for a moment, using the old lunchbox as a flat surface. When I'm done, I drop it into the box, then wedge the box into the crevice, covering it up with the loose dirt that I had moved. I pack it down, then stand back up. Thinking twice, I pick up the shredded note and stuff it into my pocket. Then I walk back up to the shore and up the trail, ignoring what looks like the eyes shine of tarantulas all around me. Maybe it's just the stars. I don't remember much of the drive back or the parking lot of the motel. Next thing I know, I'm standing next to the bed, glaring down at TJ, watching him sleep.
Saturday.
All right, I think that is where we are going to call it for today, just in case.
Saturday is super long, like it usually is.
Yeah. Yeah, what Chase doesn't know is that the tarantula was just on his back the entire time,
Right?
slowly getting closer to the back of his neck so it could bite him.
Suck his blood out.
Bites his spine, sucks out all the cerebrospinal fluid,
I kind of have a
drinks deep.
I kind of have a theory that the spider is actually in this case at least, the spider is like one of the monsters that Echo has around it. Because Echo's supposed to be like, I guess, infested with like some kind of monsters and supernatural
Yeah.
shit. So I actually think that spider, it knew he was going there. Maybe it's been tempting him. It's like psychic, so it actually tempted him to go there. So I think that spider is one of the monsters.
What I think is going on is when people die, they can possess tarantulas. That's what I think is happening. Specifically when they die like a violent death or something like that.
That would make sense.
That's what I think is happening. So that spider is potentially literally Sydney.
Yeah, that was like the other thought that came to my mind when you said that, was like, oh shit, that is actually Sydney. Standing there, waiting.
Watching.
Waiting.
And the thing is, if they found that note, maybe that would stop the hysteria from happening. Then again, in Leo's route, it said that as people's despair got worse, that's like Echo would just take in a deep breath and then let it out. So that might be what it wants to happen, right? It wants them to find out that how Sydney died. They want all the other characters to figure it out. So then they all turn on Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure Chase just drowned Sydney. I have a feeling that. So TJ found the body, right? I have a very strong suspicion that Sydney attacked Chase and was probably trying to drown Chase. I mean, Sydney attacked TJ and was trying to drown TJ. Maybe Sydney got possessed or something. And then Chase probably found this and then drowned Sydney because it's kind of hard for an auto to drown by accident.
Yeah, so kind of makes sense
And
that,
then,
he would
yeah,
be drowned. Not he drowned himself on accident, but someone
yeah.
drowned him intentionally.
And then probably TJ and Chase came up with some sort of cover story. And I think the letter that he tore up, it was him and was basically like probably shows something like Chase drowning Sydney
It
as
was
TJ watches or something.
like the red-handed, I guess, or the glaring evidence.
Yeah.
It would be kind of
Yeah,
funny
that's
if
what I think
like
it
he
is.
looks at it and it's like it's got spider webs all across it from
Yeah, I
like
know, right?
Sydney's there like, I'm gonna fucking out you, bitch.
Or like as he tears it apart, he realizes that the entire paper is just made of spider webs.
Yeah. It's like,
And
oh,
we haven't seen much of Leo. We haven't seen much of Flynn. So I have a feeling that one of them is going to show up. We haven't heard anything from Leo, but we have heard about Flynn. So maybe Flynn's going to play more of a part in Saturday or Sunday. I don't know.
I hope so.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll
And
see.
that will be next time.
Be next time.
All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.
See you, everyone. Bye.